Hi girls! Guess what day it is? Well, it's not Media Monday. Nana was so busy all day yesterday, I'm so sorry. But today we're going to call it Terrific Tuesday because we're going to read a story. Now, have you ever heard of a giant who was a nice guy? Well, not at first, most of them aren't. But this one was. And he wanted company. He was lonely. Wasn't he lonely, Hedwig? Hey. Wake up. Wake up. Such a lazy little bird. Okay. Now you're going to talk all the time. All right. Got to get my critters all in a row here. Okay. The Giant Who Wanted Company was written by Lee Priestley. You didn't know him. And the illustrations were done, that means the pictures. Those were done by Dennis Hockerman. Now, okay, settle down. All right. Look at our giant. He looks sad. Well, let's see what's going on with that giant. Once there was a giant who lived all alone in his big old house. At dinner time, there was only one plate on his big old table. At night, only one of his big old beds was slept in. There was no noise. There was no commotion. The giant had no one to talk to him. He had no one to walk with him. He was lonely. Look at him, sitting there with his chair in his big old house. Well, let's see what happens. I'd like me some company, the giant said to himself. I'll go far and near, and I'll invite my friends to come visit me. So he went far to invite his giant friends. I'd like some company, the giant said to them. Could you stop by to see me someday? We'll be glad to come, said his giant friends. See you soon. How sweet. Look at that. They're all delighted. Maybe that's what they were waiting on, an invitation. We'll see. Next, the giant went near to invite his smaller friends. He invited horses and cows and dogs and cats and kittens and goats and llamas and hats and bats and ants and doves. I don't know if he invited owls. Do you think he should invite such a loudmouth owl? Do you think you could be a nice friend? Who? You. Oh, now you're going to sleep. Okay. Look at the giant talking to the little animals. Those are his small friends. Look at him sitting, squatting down beside that house. Look at that little tiny house and look at that big old foot right there. Yikes. That foot's the size of that house. Then the giant went home and got ready for company. He set some plates on his big old table. He put some clean sheets on his big old beds. He filled his big old cupboards with food. When everything was ready, the giant sat down to wait for visitors. He wondered who would come first. Do you mind? He wondered who would come first. Giant friends or small friends? Sounds like a giant friend and a small friend, or a small friend with a giant mouth is at the door. Soon he heard knocking. Someone was knocking at his big old front door. The giant hurried to open it, and that one right there. He was probably at the door. He saw all his giant friends, all of his smaller friends too. All the company from far and near had come at one time. Oh, wow. Do you think he expected it? Look at the surprise look on his face. And look at the sweet smiles on all of their faces. Even the little critters down here are smiling. I don't see an owl in here. You didn't wait for pictures? She didn't sit still for pictures. There was noise in the giant's house. He had so much company to talk with. He had so much company to talk with. The giant shouted. The horses neighed. And the cows mooed. And the dogs barked, barked, barked. And the cats meowed. The kittens mewed. And the goats bleated. And the llamas made whatever noise a llama makes. The bats squeaked and the ants chirred and the doves cooed. I didn't hear you in there. Oh, well, that was definitely noise. Look at them all. They're having a ball. Look at them. They're all drinking milk and talking, and the animals are all making their respective noises, and they're having a good time. There was commotion in the giant's house then. He had so much company to walk with. The giant strode, and the horses cantered, and the cows plodded. The dogs trotted, the cats prowled, the kittens scampered, the goats ambled, and the llamas moved in whatever way llamas move. The bats swooped, and the ants scattered, and the doves flew. In all that commotion, the giant didn't dare to set a foot down flat for fear of stepping on one of his friends. Look at that big old foot. Get out of the way, ants, look. Yeah, the ants are in the way. They're going to get squished. She makes too much noise, doesn't she? That giant be sorry he invited her over, won't he? The giant had so much company to feed. Oh, my. He seated all his giant friends around his big table. They ate toast and the roast and the ham and the jam and everything else from the cupboards, too. They all came hungry. He bought hay in from the stables for the horses. He gathered grass from the pasture for the cows. He found bones from the meat for the dogs. But I've got still so much company left over, said the giant. Uh-oh, they done eat him out of house and home. Look at all that food that giant's been giving to all those friends and family. Woof! And they're eating up a storm, too. Let's see what happens next. Okay. The giant had so much company to spend the night. His giant friends slept in the giant beds. The horses slept in the chairs. The cows slept on the sofa. And the dogs slept on the footstools. But I've still got so much company left over, said the giant. And somebody drew us a beautiful picture on there, didn't they? So, he put the cats to bed on the mats, the kittens in his mittens, the goats in his coat, the llamas in his pajamas, the bats in his hats, the ants on his plants, and the doves in his gloves. He had a place for everybody, and everybody was happy. And they were tired after being there all day and eating and what are you saying? You didn't eat? I'll bet you did eat. Yeah. Uh-huh. How many did you eat? You, that's who. How many mice did you chase? Come on. How many mice? silly old owl. But anyway, that's the story of the giant who wanted company. And he got it, didn't he? He got plenty of friends, and he got plenty of little friends, and plenty of big friends, and plenty of friends all in between sizes. Friends are very important because it's lonely when you don't have friends. And right now, with the COVID virus keeping everybody pretty much at home, it gets kind of lonely, especially for people older, like grandmas and grandpas. It gets really lonely for them, and especially if it's only one of them living in the house. Like Grandmama Landers, she gets lonely. I know she does. And Papa and I go and see her every week, 3 or 4 times a week. And we have a good time, and we talk. And your Mama and Papa, Forsyth, they go and visit with Grandmama Joyce. And they have a good time. And Aunt Bert, who is Grandmama Joyce's sister, comes to visit. And she and Bert have a wonderful time. So she has company, but not as much as she would like. She would like a lot of company. But things are loosening up, and we'll get to go around each other and go visit our friends and our families. And pretty soon it'll be back like it used to be. Let's hope. Okay, ladies, that's going to be all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the story of the giant who wanted company. And my little friend, her name is Hedwig. She's a sweetie. Yes. She starred in the Harry Potter film. And that's a stuffed Hedwig. She's a snowy owl. And they are especially beautiful. Remind me someday to tell you about Aunt Sharon and Uncle Kenneth when they saw a snowy owl in our woods behind our house. They were little fellas. Aunt Sharon was about your age, Savvy, and Uncle Kenneth was a couple of years older than Aunt Sharon. Uncle Kenneth is my brother, Sharon's uncle, and Sharon is your aunt, and Kenneth is your great uncle. How about that? Well, they saw him. They saw him. And when they did, oh my goodness, I will tell you the story someday of Aunt Sharon and Uncle Kenneth and the snowy owl. Okay? I love you girls to the moon and back. Be good, love Mama and Daddy, and love each other. Bye-bye.